Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. You know who it is? It's your trusted GM, Brian. And you know what? I'm glad to have you guys here joining me once again with my Hard Slingers. You know, we really are having a blast running this Dragon's Demand run through. And like I said, we wouldn't be here were it not for you. Which reminds me, you know, every time we roll a Hard 20, right into the show at rollthehard20podcast at gmail.com. Drop me your name and address. I'll send you out a D20, one of the stickers, and quite possibly one of our gold doubloons. And I tell you what, these future episodes, because a lot of them are kind of already being prepped and already recorded and whatnot, I see we've been rolling a lot of Hard 20s. And why not write in? Why not get one of those? Represent the show, yeah. You know, also, we have t-shirts over on Amazon. The link is in the description how you can get those shirts. We're actually looking at putting another shirt that has our Delta Green symbol on it. So, you know, drawn by famous artist Samwise Didier, who happens to be a hard slinger of yore on our Delta Green threads. Check that out too. But yeah, if you want to help represent the show that way, pick up one of those shirts. You know, also if you head on over to the Patreon, I think there's a particular tier where we'll actually send you a shirt if you're at that tier level. So that's just something to think about. I just can't wait to start wrapping up this Dragon's Demand. You know, now that we've kind of taken care of some of the loose threads, as I've discussed in our after action reports with both Chris and Radke, I think we're at the point now where we're starting to lock and load and send this AP downrange, and I've already got us prepped for what we're going to be doing next, but it's a surprise. I can't tell you till we get to that point. I know the hard slingers are excited about it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's warm up our dice and top off our glass as Roll the Hard 20 podcast presents episode 52 of our Dragon's Demand run through, The Aftermath. I always wonder what people think if I pre-record that. Warm up your dice and top off your glass. No, I say it live every time. Every time, fellow slingers. Have a good one.
One in LA, the big one.
Nah. Crowds are just not my thing. Like, I would go, I'd be entertained for like an hour, and once I made a circuit around all those stalls, I would have been like ready to go home.
That's the problem once you're there. I suppose that you're stuck there. You know, you spend a lot of money to get wherever you're going, and to get into the convention, you want to stay in and see it through. So
I get why they do it, but they were literally selling one beer in there. It was Dragon's Milk, so it was like a hard stout. And like, to me, I love people watching. So it's like you go there and it'd be nice to be like, oh, Coors Light. And you have like 2 or 3 drinks or whatever, you know, over the course of maybe a couple hours. But you're like looking at people and just casual. But like, you can't just sip on, well, I guess you're supposed to. But I couldn't see like enjoying that over the course of a few hours.
We're beer bonging it.
Yeah, man. Go out the funnel and just get stupid.
Well, before we begin, let's talk about last episode.
We have to.
Go away.
I already went away.
God, that name.
Yeah. I was actually surprised that didn't unfold in episode 50. That's kind of like not that we were leading up to that marker of being 50. I just thought that would have been cool had we done this in episode 50. And I actually struggled with whether or not we would just keep going that night. And I think that it ended at almost an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour. Even the last session we just did was over an hour. It's like an hour and 5 minutes. And I think that the sweet spot for listening to a podcast is about 45 to 55 minutes at the most before people start droning out and just calling it a day. But everything that we did in the last session was exactly what I wanted to see done, with the exception of the death of Stubby.
Bullshit.
Well, you know what's funny was we had already talked like off air and everything, and you realize that probably how you treated the Baroness was probably not going to work out. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to have to put together another character because I could see this unraveling pretty fast. I was like, it might, and I already had it in mind. I'm like, oh, dude.
It totally caught me by surprise, Heinrich.
And
Yes.
Totally
Yes.
caught me by surprise.
he was already pretty much built. And then I was deciding if I was going to do it in the parlor of her manor. And I was like, no, there's too many of them. He wouldn't do that because that's not how he is. He's basically, he helped her maintain her level by being an assassin and being very skilled at the stuff that he does,
Now I picked up when Stabby did his thing, when he said, Baroness, do you want me to take care of it? That tipped me off that something was not as it seemed with Heinrich.
And I don't want to give up everything yet because technically he's still alive. He's still running through the forest. So I don't want to tip my hand. I don't want to tip my hand on what he can do and what he is and everything. So I'm not going to. Probably should even say that. But I mean, obviously, if you guys went toe to toe and everything's there, and maybe off air we can touch base on it and everything. But it was that was an exciting episode. Dempsey, fucking A, Radke, what'd you think about that? You and Drosk,
I got a lot of emotions going on. I mean, this is a person that he's been running from for probably close to a year, I would think. This is like my entire backstory. So that's a big portion of who he is at this point in his life.
Yeah, and I know like sometimes the thought and fear and whispers of the boogeyman is enough to make people off balance as opposed to actually dealing with that individual. Like when you actually go toe to toe with this guy who's supposed to be all that, and you've been training so hard to deal with it and worried that you're not enough, but you've actually trained to the point where you're more than enough. And that's basically Dempsey. I mean, he didn't even use a weapon. He just did it all hand to hand, and he still came out on top. Granted, he had some help from Valadier sucking on his buff.
I think that so long my character has like lived in his brother's shadow, and he's never really like let himself be his own person, and following his brother around like on the fighting circuit, what have you. That being out and doing this, it's like it's kind of going to become his own thing, where like this is where Dempsey, this is his thing now. He's going to be an adventurer. Even just like picking up the heavy armor, it felt weird because I know he's been trained as a boxer his entire life, and it's just different. You don't see a boxer in like full plate mail.
And it's ironic because even though it's all based on dice and stuff, but I mean, and some dice rolls were better than others. We actually had more hard 20s last episode, and we see
awesome.
Like there's like everybody was like an MVP in that episode, and it was good. It was good to see. I think that originally Drosk was doing really well, and then he just started fumbling, or not fumbling, but like failing to make contact. But it was actually pretty true to it because he was taking damage and wasn't healing. That's almost what you would see. You would see somebody older that would start to tire and start taking damage, and his success rate would drop significantly. Most fights don't go more than 30 seconds, and that's, what we do. We probably did like 6 or 7 rounds.
Yeah,
less than a minute.
Well, I will say Dempsey, like Drosk's guys weren't helping him, whereas I had my people, boosting up, and they're doing attacks. And I know you're fighting one-on-one, but you're also seeing the bad guys in the periphery getting blasted and stuff, and you have that like feeling of, okay, these guys have my back. So it's like he's going to get progressively stronger, whereas Drosk, he's just a one-man army. He's trying to rule by fear. Like they don't really, to me, would have his back in a way.
And he's old school, so he's not really familiar that Valadier had buffed you silently. He doesn't know any of this stuff. He just knows that you guys are one-on-one. He didn't see anybody else come to your aid. So when his orc was like, hey, I want to get in, let me help you out, boss, and he's like, get off my back, this is the way it's got to be. This is like how lions succeed the previous lion. That's usually by taking over the last one, and that's the strong will rise, and that's how that works in those prides and stuff. So we gotta have pride. Um, yeah,
The
I
alpha
mean,
male.
yeah, Valadir went toe to toe with his orcs, and then Warren doing all of his shit in the background. That was really cool to see him just like a taste of what this magic user can do. That's like just a little taste. You know, I'm actually scared to see the full repertoire of Warren's abilities because I know that it's going to be something that I'm going to be a whoop, and then I have all these pages planned out, all this shit planned out, and the encounter is going to be over like that. Which it was damn close to being. I thought it was going to be that way. Once things started happening really fast, I was like, "Oh fuck, this is going pretty fast." But it was cool to see that there were three things going on at the same time. We had Stebby and Heinrich in the woods, and you had Valadir and the orcs, and you had Dempsey and Drosk, and everything's going on all at the same time. I thought that was I enjoyed that.
So we turn around and like there's villagers just like eating popcorn, and Don King is like, "We could have done this pay-per-view."
Right. Well, you got this. If you could see that.
Yeah.
And then we have let's just put those in here for now. Let's lead us in. Lead us into prayer. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted Dungeon Master Brian, and with me, the Hard Slingers. Yeah. Episode 52 of the Dragon's Demand run through. I still can't believe we've managed to go on to 52 episodes. That still blows me away that Carrion Crown went like 34, 35 episodes, and it was the same page count, and we're still just trucking along. Hey, what's that? I don't know, what's that? So like I just briefly touched on in the our little back and forth or whatever, you guys had this big ass battle on Old Quarry Road between Hunclay's Manor and the collapsed Witch Tower and the Sunset Home, basically meeting Drosk and his boys there. Dempsey, you went there like he'd asked you, with Valadir right behind you. Warren, you stayed back at the bridge, and Stubby, you had gone into the woods to flank them. And when your invisibility dropped, you realized that Heinrich was actually back there and had been tracking you guys for a while. That's when you and him had it out, and unfortunately, as everything started to settle down, Drosk, the account with him was settled, but as Stubby tried to disengage and run, it looked like he was taken out, and he was. So as everything starts to settle down, you see that there's the body of the three orcs, the decapitated head of some large war ape. You see Drosk bent over in a fetal position, dead to the world. You see the heroes are starting to regain their breath. You notice that a lot of the townsfolk had not just gone to the opposite side of the bank, but they've actually crossed over the bridge to get a closer view at what was going on in this field. I mean, you see a lot of the proprietors, a lot of the people that live there. You see a lot of visitors too. One of them seems to be standing off a little more than the rest of them. And I'd like for Valadir, Warren, and Dempsey to make a perception check.
Valadir got a 9.
9. Warren?
Warren got a 7.
7. Dempsey?
17.
17. So as all this is unfolding, you're looking at the crowd. You're worried about your fallen comrade and everything. Dempsey, you look, and for just a split second, you almost see Flint standing in the crowd. It's like mind-boggling. You take a second look, and you see that it is indeed a dwarf dressed in like the same attire, only this dwarf seems to look a little different, but he definitely has the same regal robes of his deity that he had worshipped. I mean, even from this distance, you can see that there appears to be some kind of a red outline on the back of each of his hands. As he stands there. Yeah, Asukar. And he's with the group of the townsfolk watching, but he's still slightly apart from them. You see Valadir's looking on the body of Stubby, having seen this final magical bolt fire even further southeast from the woods, almost as though it was going, slowly getting further to the east, but staying in the woods. First one missed, second one missed, third one hit, and that seemed to be the one that actually took him out.
Was this like a second gunman on the grassy knoll situation, or was it all coming from
who knows? I mean, they were not coming from the same positions. You could read into that however you want to. Warren, you're probably still in the woods, right? Have you left the woods yet, or are you still in there?
No, I'm still I probably don't know that Stabby is I know he's like down. I don't know that he is dead. So I am just simply continuing on trying to find the source of these firebolts. So I'm going to move another 30 feet further in the direction of where they seem to be coming from and seeing what I see.
Okay. Go ahead and make another perception check.
Okay. Oh, hard 20.
Hard.
There
20.
it is.
The sunlight coming in, glaring, doesn't bother you. The shadows don't bother you. Your eyes begin to adjust really fast, and you scan the woods, scan the tree lines, scan everything, and you don't see anything. Whatever was going on, whoever was delivering this, whatever group of people or solitude individual, appears to have definitely left the scene. Because you don't see anything.
I'll just keep probably stop where I'm in, realizing that I'm just not finding it, and anyone who might be seeing Warren is going to see him looking around wildly, I'm obviously very frantic, adrenaline's pumping, I'm going to find this person and someone is going to pay. I probably what I'll be doing for about the next minute or so will be circling around the area in I'd imagine a 20-foot area, looking for any sign. I mean, Warren is not a tracker, but at this point he's going to look for signs of whatever might be around.
Okay, so you move another 20 feet. Go ahead and make another perception check.
That is a 16.
16. You see something in the undergrowth.
Mm-hmm.
It appears to be a small, clear container, probably no bigger than maybe 3 inches tall, maybe an inch in diameter. You see it's uncorked. Very little residual fluid left in it.
I'll make a gesture and it will float up as a ghostly mage hand appears and picks it up and brings it over to Warren's to inspect. And I'll take a close look at it. I'm assuming what I'm seeing is an empty potion vial.
It certainly seems that way. You've definitely been around them enough to know that this is one of those containers. Mm-hmm. Small quaif of something, but it's empty at this point.
Okay, I will take a quick sniff and inspection of it and seeing if I can tell what it might have been.
Okay,
fingerprints.
Give me your
right.
Check.
Not terrible. 17.
17. It almost smells like similar ingredients that would be used to make a potion of invisibility.
Of course. I'll just take one last look at the horizon, and basically just focus at a certain distance around, and I'm looking for movement of grasses, branches, something that is not necessarily created by the wind or breeze or anything.
Make your perception check.
13. If I do see something, there's going, even whether or not it's actually there's going to be an eldritch blast flying.
Okay. You see a leaf kind of dangling on the on a side branch coming off.
That whole end of the branch is just obliterated.
Make your attack roll.
Okay. 22.
22. You hear this squeal of a mid-sized animal.
Like a pig.
Basically take it in the side and just skid out of the tree line and into the field by Old Quarry Road, which that road itself actually leads to the old rock quarry, where once upon a time they used to pull these limestones out, and that was the sustenance for the town's revenue at the time. But other than that, as you look around, it just everything gets kind of quiet. Looking around, you don't see any more trees moving. You don't see more leaves moving. It's just definitely quiet in the tree line, but you still hear murmuring outside. You could see.
I will. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say you could see Valadier standing in the middle of the field next to Dempsey, and they appear to be standing over something in the grass. But those are the only two people that you see of your comrades.
Well, I mean, I know that's about where Stabby had fallen. Anyways, at that point, realizing I'm probably not going to find anything, I will march very sternly and just incredibly annoyed back towards them.
How dare you die? He
Pretty much.
So Dempsey's gonna wave at the cleric like, priest, please come, please, can you help this man, please? And just like try to get the cleric he saw's attention. Yes, you with the face and the eyes and yes.
And you're far.
The ugly one, yes.
You're probably like 200 feet away from them. But of course, you see the entire line of people. You see, Casper Tymek from Tymek's General Store. You see Talia Oram. You see Zenmei. You see Caladestina Honus. You see the Baroness as well. She's out there standing with her arms folded, and some of her servants are around her, and she's looking at everything that's going on, and just standing there stoically. And everybody kind of looks towards this dwarf in the robes, wondering if obviously this individual Dempsey is calling to him, and if he's going to join them or not. Chris, why don't you tell me what's going to happen with this individual that's being called out?
I'm going to walk towards the group across that 200 foot expanse, shield in left hand, warhammer in the right hand, down at my side, and walk up to the group and say, did you call me, sir?
Yes. I see your robes. Do you have any, can you help our friend perhaps?
He looks down at the halfling that is face down, kneels next to him, places his hand upon the back of his neck and along the side, pauses for a moment, and then drops his head down, pauses, removes his hand, stands up, looks at Dempsey. I'm sorry, but your companion is gone.
Dempsey's just gonna drop his eyes, and he's just losing another person. It's just tragic to him, even after the, winning the battle. And he turns for a minute, just looking out at like the landscape.
Was this one of your comrades?
He spins around. Oh, yes. He followed us into battle. We wouldn't have had this fight today if it wasn't for him inspiring us, honestly.
I've heard of a group of this particular makeup before. Did you travel with a cleric at one point?
Yes. Flint. And I think Warren probably getting to us. He's like, maybe this man knew Flint.
Yes, I did. As I approach and I look down, and I look to Valadier and Dempsey, and say, "Wait, is Stabby? Why is he not Valadier? Were you not able to heal?"
Unfortunately, I wasn't. Almost forgot. No,
Accent? What accent?
Accent. Sorry.
I've been
No.
caught.
I've been caught. I'm proud. No, was not able to cure aid for poor Stabi. We were attacked after I barely got to him.
I only saw
Uh,
a glimpse of it. Was that the man from the Baroness? That was the old man.
Did you see him?
Only for a moment. Did you see him?
No, I did not. And I'll
Actually, I don't think you saw him, Dempsey. You most likely did not see that.
I
Oh,
did
okay.
not see shit.
Nope. So you could scratch that part, Warren.
Okay.
You didn't, nobody else saw who Stubby. That's why he remained in the tree line.
Okay. In that case, I will turn back and yell at the tree line, and just in as loud a voice as I can, yelling, "If I find you, you will regret the day."
Warren, please. I understand you've lost your friend. We should.
I turn back around and look at you, and and I've actually got like fire wreathing my hands, and just says, "You do not get to tell me to calm down after someone assassinates my ally."
Perhaps we should speak in private.
We never told you his name.
We should finish our business here and move into town, someplace where we could all talk.
You see, like a lot of the towns, people have started to disperse, but you see Talia from the Wise Piper Inn actually crossing the field towards the four of you, and she looks at you guys, and as she's making a straight line towards you, you see Calidestina Honus also angling towards you as well, and they both stop right next to you at the same time, and Talia looks at the four of you, and she says, "Please accept my condolences for your friend. If you need a place to stay and then collect your thoughts, the stay is on the house. You know, anything that I could be of assistance with, please let me know, and when the time is right, your rooms will be ready for you. But take your time." And she actually leaves, but Calidestina actually stays behind and looks down at Stubby in the grass, and she looks at Dempsey and Valadier and Warren and just kind of shakes her head and just, "What is it you three are trying to prove in this town of Belhaim? How many more of your friends have to perish? What is your end game here?"
Our end game? You ask what our end game is. This here, this is simply people chasing those of us down.
We didn't ask for this. They came after me, and my friends accompanied.
It was purely self-defense.
I mean, you guys went into Hunclay's Manor for whatever reason, and you brought out your cleric. Tell me, at this, you hear her mention a cleric, and she continues. She's all, "I would have thought that would have been enough to cut ties here. I'm not really certain what you guys are hoping to get out of this. And now, I mean, your friend is still sitting in my parlor right now, and I've got another one to add. I'm not really sure what we're doing here."
You don't want anyone to die.
Well, my business is built off dead people, but I mean, there comes
You're
a point-
welcome. Oh.
Well, here, let me pay you so I could stay in business. Yeah, I just don't understand it. I mean, is there something keeping you in Belhaim?
We were staying for an additional couple of days at the Baroness's request, if you care to know our business. And While we were simply going back to the inn, we came across some former associates of my friend Dempsey here, and which they decided to call us out to here to settle this score. I do not know the details, so of that, you will have to hear the story from Dempsey.
But I could tell you the score.
I just look over at like all the dead bodies over there, and then I look back at her and say, and it looks like you will be in business for quite some time.
Hold on for a second, guys. I actually have to mark the time here. Do me a favor, Ryan. Get closer to your microphone. I think you're kind of far away.
I haven't moved my mic at all.
No, you sound really quiet. Is it just me, or does he sound quiet?
I get you.
Is it me? Okay, sorry, guys.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're at 31 minutes. Okay, I'll know when to cut that piece out then. Okay.
Your equipment's still set to Hawaii time.
Oh,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. Hawaii. Well,
Said he's gonna start growing out his, middle-aged man ponytail and saying everything's gnarly.
you're gnarly.
Yeah.
Well, let me know if there's if I could be any further assistance besides helping with your small friend here. Would you like to carry him back to the Sunset House, or you want me to send some of the boys out to collect him?
Dempsey, do you mind?
Of course. Yeah, with all respect. But before we do leave, I just want to verify that Drosk is dead.
Okay.
Goes over and just like puts 2 fingers on his temple. Make sure he didn't like weasel off into the underbrush.
He's cold to the touch. I mean, you could do the eye flick.
Yeah.
That's always good.
He holds like a mirror up underneath his nose to make sure if it's, fogging up.
He's done. He's just standing there, vest, some kind of a leather lederhosen, and his axe that he's probably had
Be
with
German.
him. Yeah, probably had with him forever and a day, but nothing really special about the axe. It's just a worn, old school, great axe.
Yeah, I'm not interested in it. Can I pick up that glove? The glove that Valadier helped fumble. Can I use that
It's pretty heavy, and it's made for a large fist.
for an animal?
It's-
Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna. It wouldn't do you any good.
It's just standard adventure, like, loot the body stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like an armadillo back with
Mhm.
a handle inside, so you kind of slip your hand in, so you could still grab stuff, but have it on your hand. As long that's how he was able to pick up the rock and throw it, and still
Okay.
have the back corrugated piece of metal on the back of his hand. But when he reached back to hit, obviously it slipped off at that point. He was probably dust at that point.
I think if nothing else, he would pick up the weapons and just like drop them off at the blacksmith just to so some kids wouldn't find them.
Yeah, and Bacchus at one point was part of the lineup with Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Clyde. Everybody in town was watching what was going on. This had been a big thing. I mean, you got to remember, these guys were wandering around Belhaim looking for you specifically, aggressively. They were asking questions. There was no guile about it. There was no subterfuge about it at all. They were looking for you.
I think for the first time, he's gonna no cloak, and he just he says hello to Bacchus. He gives him the weapons, and he's like, "I'm gonna stop by," and then he'll pick up Stebby and then head out. No further ado.
He grabs the weapons as you give him. He's like, "I'm going to have a great sell on this great axe if you want to buy it later." And him and his boys take the swords from the other orcs, and they take the mail pieces from the great from the war ape, and they take Drosk's great axe and basically leave the bodies there. That's not their end of the deal. So. And at some point, you hear Caladestina talk to a couple of her guys and say, at some point we'll go back and we'll police up these bodies and burn them out back. We're not even going to waste the earth on these guys. So,
Caladestina, you mentioned that you've taken care of another cleric of dwarf of this party. Might I see the body?
yes, if you'd like to follow me, he's in the display parlor right now. We're preparing to have him sent back over to the Shrine of the Six-Pointed Star in town. I guess the acolytes there will do something with him and send him back to where he belongs amongst his people.
I would like to see him before that.
That's fine if you want to come back with me. My guys will be going up and down this field for probably about 40 minutes, dragging these hooligans. And she looks at you, Dempsey, and says, "Well, shall we get back up to the house then, and you can bring your friend?"
Sure. So he'll
proper
walk,
respect.
and probably while they're walking, he's like, "Why are you here?" To the cleric. He's like, "Is this some sort of twist of fate that you ended up here? Where'd you come from?"
Again, we should speak in private, not amongst these people. I have urgent business to tend to, though, with Caladestina that I must complete before we speak.
So it doesn't take you long. You guys get up to the Sunset House, and she opens the door and lets Dempsey in first. Just put him on the table right against the wall there. You see there against the eastern wall, there is a small metal table. Just go ahead and set your friend down, and I'll take care of him from there.
Just set him down and like get his like personal belongings to the side, maybe kind of like with Valadier and Warren, will kind of like look at that stuff.
My lord, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but if you'll follow me, I'll show you to your friend. She's very courteous towards you, as she is to most people anyways, but definitely you being in the robes and the tats on the back of your hands and stuff, she wants to make sure she pays very good homage to you and your deity. And she leads you into the front parlor, and you see Flint's body still in repose, and he doesn't look like he's withering or anything. Obviously there's some kind of a magic at work to keep him from starting to stank. There he is, my lord.
Thank you. I'll approach. Tommy approaches Flint's body, and he places his hand upon his chest.
His wiener.
That tickles.
Yeah. Why is he breathing?
Wait a fuck up a moment.
He places his hand upon his chest and looks at Flint's face. Says, "My friend, I'm sorry it came to this, but I understand that this was an important task and an important journey for you. I guarantee that I will not allow your death to go unnoticed." And Tommy nods his head. He hangs his head and closes his eyes and mutters a prayer. Removes his hand, stands back up, but kind of, recomposes himself. Tall back, stiff shoulders, and turns around, leaves the room, and goes back into the front of the Sunset House.
She looks at you and says, "My lord, will you be taking his personal effects, or are you going to leave those in the custody of his companions?"
What items do you speak of?
And at that point, she just kind of steps back, because she's not accusing you guys of stealing his stuff, but she knows that you guys had taken them earlier and returned them to the room at the Wise Piper Inn, and so she basically lets you guys explain to him.
Oh, well, we unfortunately do not know Flint's family or his specifically what church he called home, so we did not know who to forward those items to. So we do have them back at our inn. We were going to see about researching that, but if you as a man of faith are familiar with where these should go, then Please, by all means.
What is your name?
My name.
Yes, your name.
And
My name
I
is
will.
not important.
I will bow slightly. Please excuse my lack of manners here. I am Warren Belhaim.
Warren, my name is Tommy Hammerbane. I didn't think that the rumors were true, but Flint here is of my order. I heard that he had come here to Belhaim to assist in a great task. It is very sad that he passed.
It is quite sad.
However, I am here now to provide aid to you adventurers to continue along with Flint's task.
Well,
Yeah.
we
Well-
do appreciate that.
Can I ask what are we looking at? What does this guy look like?
He is a dwarf, a hill dwarf. He's bald, with a white beard, a very thick white beard. He has seen his share of adventure, but he looks very fatherly with the white beard.
He's got the tattoos on the back of his hands.
Yes, very weathered skin, the tattoos. You could definitely tell that he has been in the shit.
Who's the guy from Sons of Anarchy? The one that also dresses up like Elvis Presley from the first season? That's the guy that I'm picturing right now. Just that
Okay.
badass dude. He's also like their accountant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So she takes Stubby's body because the table has wheels on the bottom, and she wheels him into the parlor, and she says, "Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to be getting to work on your friend. Not to sound crude or crass, who will be settling the bill for this individual?"
I have money.
What is the bill? I apologize. Flint was going to be taken care of by the
Well-
Baroness.
Yes, she already sent a representative down to settle that bill. This little individual is a little smaller than your previous comrade, so he will be
Takes up less
half
space.
off.
Yes.
So
Oh.
we'll settle for 100 GP when you get a chance.
I will go ahead and pay this now, and my companions and I will decide how to split that later.
Thank you. She takes the money from you and, see yourself out, boys. And she wheels Stubby to the back and closes the curtain.
Dempsey's gonna like hold up Flint's stuff and he's like, "Ch-ch." And there's like the gold. He's like,
Well, the gold we took to the church 2 sessions ago.
Yeah, Stevie still has some.
that's what I'm
Some
saying.
money.
Yes, I'm
Oh.
sorry. Yes,
Yeah, he meant to be.
money. Yeah, sorry.
Well, I'm sure he's not going to battle with 1,250 gold pieces swinging on his
I don't
side.
know. He's pretty greedy. Like, you know what I mean? You keep that stuff close to
Actually-
the chest.
He deposited a lot of that.
From the first endeavor with the
Yes.
with the collapsed witch tower, you guys deposited it at
Those sons of bitches. Who did he make the
at-
survivor
at
on that?
Grellin and
Yeah.
Sons,
Yeah.
which was a basically like a bank. But the
There's no-
money that you guys got from clearing Hunclay's Manor from the Baroness, you guys still had that stuff in your room.
Yes.
You guys hadn't taken that to Grellin and Sons, so that's still in your position.
There was no biometric measurements taken at the bank, was there? We're not going to need Stebby later, like a fingerprint or something.
Oh, I don't
You know how to-
remember who had the chit.
I was gonna say, you know how to forge documents, don't you?
Who's got the chit for that place? Remember, he gave you like a red card. I don't
I would
remember.
assume. I thought Stabby had taken it because he was the one who had deposited his gold.
Well, it might be on his persons then.
Okay.
So
Definitely get his personal items back.
I mean,
yeah, at
for
some point when
s-
she strips him down and laughs at his nudeness, his shit will be set in a pile as well. So
it's like a baby.
But yeah, you guys had deposited 500 gold pieces last time. So
Mhm.
I mean, come on. We all know this is the same person. I think for simplicity's sake, we just give all the money to Chris.
no.
I mean, that's
Well, you could get the
Like
shit.
we can trust the holy man to do the right thing with the money, right?
I mean, in all honesty, what I would suggest is that we do hold on to Stabby's money as a party fund, and then if, for instance, our new companion here does need to purchase something with more gold than he has, we can certainly draw from it. But I wouldn't just hand the gold over to.
Yeah, this is one of those weird things where it's like our characters may not do this, but like we literally know it's the same person, and like
Well,
it's
let me
kind of
break
their
it
money.
down,
So
Kate.
I agree with what Ryan's saying though.
Okay, so let me break it down to you.
Yeah.
Stabby's got the chit that's worth 500 gold pieces minus their interest for holding onto your money.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the money you got in all of Flint's stuff is back in the rooms at the Wise Piper Inn, including your gold pieces there, because that's when you were paid by the Baroness. That's where you took all your stuff and set it there. I don't, like I said, I don't imagine anybody's going to go to battle with a giant sack of gold across their back. It just wouldn't be
Correct.
reasonable to assume that. Obviously, with Talia there, she's not going to let anybody go in and out and steal your shit that you know of. So the most likely thing would be that once Caladestina is done with Stubby's body, you could either take his possessions with the chit at that time, or ask for just that piece now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his wand's basically worthless. Not, I don't know if you guys know that or not, but he's fired off his last charge of that, so it's
So
empty.
he did shoot his wad.
Yes, he did. That's what
Hey,
we're
he
saying.
died the way he lived, baby.
Short and fast.
I think in a uncharacteristic move, Dempsey's going to be like, "Why don't we talk about this over a drink?"
Okay.
I do agree. I do not know, Brother Hammerbane, if you are one of such, but if you are taking, if you are to take Flint's place with our group, you are welcome to join us. We can tell you a little of him and a little bit of our other companion that has lost.
I would like to hear of your companion, the halfling. I would like to hear what he has done.
He's like, not to insult you, but I've never met a dwarf that didn't want to have a drink. At least one.
So you guys leave the Sunset House. It's probably about 3:30 now, after everything's said and done with the battles and moving the bodies and all this other stuff. And there's a couple things. One of the things is that tomorrow morning is when the auction is supposed to take place. Warren, the Baroness, has offered to comp you up to 7,000 gold pieces to bid on anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she'll give you that money in exchange. She kind of wants you there as a bodyguard. I think it was more to protect her from Stubby, but she also alluded to other individuals that may be coming to purchase stuff too that may be of ill repute.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, you guys know that the Grey Hands Tavern is on.
Oh, we know where it is.
Oh, I bet you do. Okay.
I bet that one dude is still in there begging for drinks.
They might
Probably.
be.
I think so. I mean, we were gonna go to that cave, right? And was the understanding that we could get there and get back before the auction?
That's up to you guys. I mean, what you guys want to do.
We don't know exactly where it is, and frankly, any momentum that we had doing it, I think got popped when Stabby got popped.
Yeah.
Got kind of derailed.
I kind of feel like too, like the cave's not going anywhere. If we want to just like bask in the glow of victory, get to know our new friend here, that kind
Who
of thing,
knows?
and then do the auction the next day.
Maybe as an
This is-
ode to Stabby, you guys want
Yeah.
to go.
This is what we like to call a dirty win.
Yeah. I mean, Dempsey still has problems, so he still has like some bureaucracy to take care of. He's gonna like send some money to his parents.
Yeah, I don't know if Valier has problems, but you guys don't even want to know what Warren's problems are.
99, son.
Well, I don't know how many problems Warren really has, seeing as how he's a man out of time. What, did he forget to pay his electric bill? What does Warren really have hanging over his head after 200 years?
The problem is the voice in his head.
I was gonna say, did you owe the mob money and like the timer's been running, so the points like every week have been coming?
But they
like,
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna
they don't
break
know
your
that about the
legs there,
voice.
Bellham.
So tell me what you guys would like to do.
I think we're gonna go to Greyhand's Tavern unless anyone has an objection.
Okay.
Nope.
So you guys all in agreement with that?
And I'll say Dempsey, he is gonna have like a drink, but he's still, he's still in training. He's still a fighter, so he's like eating something and having a water too. And it's just more like this is the celebration. He's gonna have the one beer.
Let's get you guys to Greyhand's Tavern before you start telling me what you're gonna do.
Okay.
So you guys leave the Sunset House. You go out and you notice that sun's still out. Obviously, it's like I said, 3:30. You see to the south, to the left of you, to the south, up on the hill, you see Devi Manor, where the Baroness lives. It's quiet up there. Obviously, all the townsfolk have left. They're no longer standing on either side of the bank, looking at the field where your guys' battle had just taken place. The only two people you see are Calidestina's hands grabbing the bodies and bringing them back to the Sunset House. And you guys cross the bridge, and as you're walking through town, through Belhaim, people are just milling about doing their own stuff. You're going down Canticleer Road, and you pass all the shops on the right and the homes and whatnot. You pass Bacchus's blacksmith. You pass the Dodgian livery stables. Come to the Wise Piper Inn, and then eventually you come to the intersection where Devi Road meets Canticleer Road, and you hear Bacchus yell from behind you, "Thanks a lot for the donation, boys. Appreciate it."
Because he's got like this giant great ass.
Oh yeah, he's
Great
got all
accent.
kinds of stuff. Whatever the orcs were wearing, whether they're leather tunics or anything else like that, they're all going in an inventory. Boom,
Dude,
done.
he is like the one person in town that loves that we are here.
Yeah, I mean, it really hasn't hurt his business, other than the fact that he tried to give Dempsey some advice that he didn't think that Dempsey was going to make it.
He's like Tony Stark's great grandfather.
Yeah, but the reality is he just saw Dempsey versus 4 orcs and a war ape. He didn't see Dempsey and all of his boys against that same. Yeah,
that's the way you do the story. That's the way you sing the song. Like take you guys completely out of it.
It was a one-on-one.
Or Stabby. So you guys make your way up Canticleer Road, and you guys start. Up Devi Road, and you pass by the amphitheater where the guys are still milling about, getting this thing all ready for the auction tomorrow. They're moving crates in. They're starting to set up sentries to make sure nobody messes with anything as the night begins to fall. And you guys eventually come to Greyhand's Tavern, and you hear, the hustle and bustle of the end of a workday crowd inside. People are getting a little loose, a little light, a little loud. Tell me what you want to do.
It's definitely happy hour.
It is. It must be somebody's happy hour. Everybody's
2 for 1 appetizers.
Is there any tables that are open?
Yeah, as you enter, there's a few tables. You see people sit down just as fast as people pop up. People are clearing tables, going to the bar, going to sit down. Other people are standing up, getting another round. They're going out back where there's probably a ravine latrine where people are just filling that thing up all day long. People are passing through the front door, coming in and out. There's motion going on throughout the whole thing, and there are occasional open tables. You find one towards the back, and it looks like Swirlo's just got his hands filled. He's filling up beer, meads and shit, sending them out, filling up shot glasses. And of course, you see your buddy, Gregor Linton at the bar, just yeah, come on, another round on the house. I told you they were gonna win, double or nothing. Everybody you almost get the feeling that there was a sophomoric attitude towards your guys' engagement. You know, like maybe people were probably betting on who was going to win.
Could be. I'm sure there was, considering how many people were there. But
And you see Swirlo just kind of yell, "Find a place to sit anywhere. I'll send somebody over to get your drink orders in a minute, boys."
excellent.
It's at the table.
Mm-hmm. Take our table and say, I know you've just joined us, Brother Hammerbane, but and you've told
What's that
us...
noise?
Oh, I'm sorry. One sec. That might be me. You'll want to cut this out.
Hold on a second. All right, what is that? 5, 50, 55, 58. Okay.
Sorry, my roommate was right outside my door talking.
No problem. I'll just clip it out. Go ahead.
Okay. You told us a little bit of who you are, but why are you here? Why were you following Brother Flint?
I had heard the rumors that perhaps he was in a spot of trouble and that he may not have made it through the last adventure here in Belhaim. Perhaps one of you here can tell me of his death. How did it get to this?
He fell during a fight inside of while we were investigating a manor. He fell fighting.
Was he protecting all of you here, including that little halfling?
Yes. He said we were his best friends.
Well, I don't know that Flint had any best friends, but he definitely, helped those that needed it. And it sounds to me that you boys here needed his help.
It seemed that way. We do seem to be a troubled lot. Actually, truth be told, with the loss of our friend Stappy here, I think the original crew that had come into town is no longer among us. There is perhaps one who's out somewhere, but he seemed to leave quite disturbed.
That's amazing. I didn't even think about that. The original lineup's gone. So,
truth be told, at this time, at least from my perspective, the only reason we are here is the Baroness has requested my presence and has actually given a very lucrative bribe. But beyond that, after tomorrow, there is nothing per se that is holding me here. There's much more to it, but I share the name of this town, and my ancestor was the one who is the source of that. I no longer have ties here.
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't shared everything with you guys, but I came here from almost running from Drosk. He wanted to do me harm, and although that's over, I still any amount of money that I could bring back would be helpful for my family. And I know there's a potential of making more while we're here. If I'm not running, I could spend some more time here and perhaps dig up some more. It sounded as if there might be another opportunity. If you all would be interested in doing that with me, I would appreciate it.
Well, life on the road is all I want.
And Dempsey is like paying for all the drinks. He's like so appreciative for the help in the fight and everything.
So you're here to oversee an auction tomorrow? That is all? That is what Flint died for?
I don't know what actually brought Flint specifically to this town.
Oh, no. I only asked, is this auction what is this this auction is the only thing that he was here to do?
No,
That's what cost him his life?
No. What cost him his life is the fact that the local practitioner of the arts, and as I say that, I'll kind of waggle my fingers and sparkles of magic and fire come off them for just a moment, was into much more than the Baroness was aware of. And frankly, I do not even know the extent. And while I'm practiced and knowledgeable, I am truly a bit terrified to see what his ultimate goals were. But he trafficked in fiends. He trafficked in much more that is beyond and would make the most down-to-earth individual question their reality.
You cannot imagine the horrors that we saw inside of that mansion.
So where do we go from here, boys?
I think if Hunkley had those sorts of things in his mansion, I can only imagine what he would have had in that cave. And if something like that is out there, that's a danger to everybody, no matter what treasure may be there. I think as people with good hearts, it would be good for us to go there and, for the good of everyone and clear that stuff out. Baroness or no.
I care not of material possessions.
Good.
If there's evil, if there's evil amongst these town folk, then we must vanquish it.
There is. And actually, that's something I have a question for you, Dempsey. Drusks seem to be the brutish type. And Stabby was taken down by something that none of us saw. Is that Drusk's? Is that how he operates? Would he have had a person on the side? Would he have had...
Trusk wasn't one to be cunning like that. He was more of just get in your face and pound you until you died. I think that may have been something else. Drusk was here for me. He was not here for any of you.
Yeah, and most of Drusk's friends stayed behind. We managed to eliminate them.
Right. None of them... There was the 5 of them counting that animal.
May not be the smartest man, but I know that he left a really bad taste in the Baroness's mouth.
Oh,
and
my.
I can only imagine. Hey.
Should have drank more pineapple juice. Sorry.
There's your episode title.
Actually... Oh.
Maybe that came back to haunt him.
Indeed. Actually, Brother Hammerbane, I have a question for you. I know some people of faith can call back the dead to question them. Do you have that magic? Is that something you are knowledgeable in?
No. That we take death very seriously in our order, and once life has passed to the other side, we leave it be.
I can appreciate that, but I'm still troubled. This means that that Stabby was killed by someone else. Someone who was not associated with Drusk and was after... They did not make themselves known to us. So either he accidentally stumbled onto something from his perch in the woods, or someone came after him.
I think there's more to Belham than we may have previously thought.
Do you feel that the rest of you are in danger here?
We are, actually.
Related
yes.
to your companion's death?
think the
Possibly.
beer is starting to kind of feel nice inside of Dempsey, and he's just like, I don't feel any fear now. I feel the four of us together can go up against anything, just like we did today.
As you guys start feeling good,
Mhm.
you see Greg will come up. Hey boys, you guys did all right. You made me a lot of money. I'll buy you a round. Can I buy you a round?
Gregor, we appreciate that, but we are having a solemn toast to our friend.
Oh,
And I do appreciate the offer, but
well, okay, I'll tell you what. We'll just pick this up next session then, okay?
Nice.
All right, Gregor.
That's it, boys. Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, leave us that 5-star rating and review. We've also got a YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20, so if you're into watching, head on over there and hit that like bell, and don't forget to subscribe. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to check us out and look for us out there. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can also download the current show directly and view our archives and galleries. We got a lot of interesting stuff posted there, so head on over. And finally, join us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next session, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.